I want to pick up on a few comments, and Sophie Turner, I don't suppose that's really her name, says, "You're obviously lying. Sorry, shifty eyes, hesitations." And this is about the video which I did with Caolan Robertson. Putin accidentally bombs Russia, and the oligarchs are furious. Well, yes. Sophie Turner doesn't seem to have very much of a background, and a lot of people seem to be picking up English sounding names and yet and yet not really doing anything. Walnut says, "Does this young bloke have a YouTube channel?" Yes, he does, and I put a link on the under the Putin video to his channel, and when there's a little bit more content on it, I will do links at the end of my videos so you can go directly to his channel. You can also find him on Byline Times, I think the Byline Times video channel, and other channels. We did a Sunday brunch with Maximilian Robespierre and Political X a while ago, which is how we met initially. So, and there's also people suggesting that I'm like James O'Brien in character assassination because I've dared to criticize Esther McVey. I'm simply giving her back what she dishes out, and the person has said, there's a character assassination, especially if people are conservative. Well, I find that ironic, given the fact that I would also consider myself to be essentially a conservative voter. At the moment I feel a drifting voter, a non-committed voter, because I feel that the Conservative Party has abandoned the things that I believe are conservative principles. It's been taken over by people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's had this strange Damascene moment where he fell off his horse and seemed to have hit his head. But essentially, I disapprove of the nastiness that has taken over the Conservative Party. I don't believe the Conservative Party has always been the nasty party, in the same way as I don't believe the Labour Party has all the answers. And I certainly haven't shifted from the Conservative Party to endorsing the Labour Party. And nor, for that matter, am I going to start endorsing the Lib Dems, though I must say, when it comes to political clubs, the Lib Dem club in London is probably the nicest, and sitting under a large portrait of Jeremy Thorpe always makes me giggle. Geordie says, "Far too much commentary is optimistic babble of this kind. The implications of this are probably extreme. Oligarchs are looking at this and probably thinking, news spreads pretty fast in Russia. More facts, less optimistic guesswork, please." Well, we have actually given you more facts. We've specifically highlighted things that aren't being mentioned in mainstream media, like, for example, the radioactive slime, the sludge at the bottom of the reservoir, like, for example, Putin's bombing of sites in the Kursk region, bombing his own territory. And, Steph Foxwell says, "McVey is both vacuous and casually arrogant in the manner of a Victorian mill owner." Well, and again, a correction about Esther McVey. I thought initially that she wasn't an MP. Then I looked her up, and I found that she was an MP. I really wasn't sure. She survived in Tatton by a very small majority of just under or just over 1,000 votes. And this is for somebody who is a household name, who made her name on the television, and who has been a minister in the last Conservative government, and has also played a major role in the development of GB News. So the fact that she's resorting to cheap gimmicks and quoting poetry out of context and in a pernicious way that is simply causing offence, and is arrogant enough not to take down the tweet when she's put it up, it does make one wonder just how desperate she is. She's there in the ranks of fabricant, and fabricant. I suppose fabricant will always be able to get a job, but I'm not so sure Esther McVey, once she gets thrown out of Parliament, which I'm sure is imminent, certainly by the next general election. Uh, I think she may struggle to be heard, so she needs to make the most of it now. But it would be nice. It would be nice if she tried to do some good rather than simply doing harm, and not having the grace to remove posts that are fundamentally offensive to a large group of people. So it's a bit worrying, and there we are.